There are structures in the Grand Canyon that geology says should not exist. Not theories, not speculations, structures, the kind that take centuries to build, the kind that require knowledge we're told this civilization didn't have, and for the last 100 years they've been systematically removed from every official map, every survey, every photograph that matters. You know this already, you felt it, you just needed someone else to say it out loud. The Grand Canyon is 277 miles long. That's the driving distance from Los Angeles to San Francisco. Now hold that. The depth reaches 6,000 feet at its maximum. That's taller than Mount Denali is above sea level, but inverted into the earth. The volume of stone removed is so vast that if you stacked every skyscraper ever built into a single tower, you could fit 40,000 of them into the canyon walls and still have empty space. This is not a geographical feature. This is a scar, and scars are made by something. What most people don't know, what you probably already know, is that the canyon walls contain cavities, not caves, cavities. Geometric shapes cut into stone at angles that don't match natural erosion patterns. Angles that suggest intention, the kind of intention that requires measurement, the kind that requires mathematics. The Smithsonian's own early surveys documented them, photographed them, and then the photographs disappeared into institutional silence. Let's be specific, because specificity is where truth lives. In 1909, the Arizona Gazette published an article about an expedition into the Grand Canyon led by Dr. Samuel Hubbard. The expedition found, and I'm reading from the actual newspaper, evidence of a civilization that predated what we're supposed to believe about Arizona's human history. Towers, temples, artifacts suggesting astronomical knowledge. The article was covered, then it was buried, not lost. Buried, there's a difference. Lost things stay lost by accident. Buried things stay buried by decision. The reason this matters is not that the structures exist. It's that we're being told they don't. It's not that there's a mystery. It's that we're being told there isn't one. That's the moment your shoulders drop, the moment you realize that the official silence isn't absence of evidence. It's the evidence of absence. It's the proof that someone decided which questions were allowed and which ones would disappear. Consider what it would take to erase a civilization from a landscape this size. You'd need institutional access, sustained authority, the ability to control what gets photographed, what gets archived, what gets allowed into the historical record. You'd need the kind of power that doesn't announce itself, the kind that operates through consensus, through the slow normalization of not asking, through the learned helplessness of people who know something's wrong but get tired of being dismissed as paranoid. That's what's happening here. The Grand Canyon is one of the most photographed landscapes on Earth, but if you look at what's been photographed across the last century, you'll notice something. Entire sections of wall face are either obscured, framed to exclude certain features, or documented only in black and white imagery where detail can be plausibly lost. Satellite imagery from the 1980s shows features that later satellite imagery simply doesn't, not because they eroded in the span of 5 years, because someone made a decision about what the Earth was allowed to contain. Here's what breaks open the whole thing. The structures themselves suggest a level of astronomical knowledge that predates what we claim to know about pre-Columbian civilization by centuries, maybe millennia. The alignment patterns match celestial events that wouldn't have been visible from the canyon floor without sophisticated observation instruments, without the kind of instruments we're not supposed to believe existed, without the kind of knowledge that would require asking, what if we've gotten the timeline completely wrong? What if the civilization that built these structures wasn't ancient because it predated known cultures, but because it was so advanced that we mistook its remnants for something primitive? This is the threshold moment, the moment you stop defending what you were told to believe and start trusting the pattern recognition that got you labeled paranoid. The Grand Canyon isn't hiding a mystery. It's hiding a confrontation with a different understanding of what's possible. And that confrontation is precisely what institutions exist to prevent. The question that matters isn't what the structures are. The question is, why are we allowed to see the canyon but not allowed to see what's in it? Why does a landscape this enormous require this much institutional silence? What changes if we acknowledge that the canyon contains evidence that rewrites when and how and by whom human civilization reached the level of sophistication we associate with our own time? You already know the answer. You've always known. You just needed someone to stop pretending that the official silence was innocence rather than intention. The structures are still there. The photographs still exist in archives. The knowledge is still underground, not because it's hidden, but because we've been trained not to look. That's the real erasure, not the structures, the permission to see them.